can start just getting our props all together and finding a comfortable position. Just see how you feel today. So if you're kind of tired, maybe you lie down. If you have more energy, you could sit, or the opposite, kind of giving yourself a little balance. So if you think you'll fall asleep lying down, maybe you sit today. If you're lying down, maybe use a pillow under your head or under the knees. A bolster can help loosen your low back. So, great. All right, so just find your position that you'd like to stay for probably like the next 4 minutes or so. Really passive, just way to absorb and just allow for things to happen and come up. So step back into your observer, let your eyes close if that's okay today. Just see what's there when you first close your eyes and you turn inward, shutting out the external just for now. And you can ask yourself, how do I feel right now? And what is the answer that comes up? It's not something to judge or to make up stories around or about. We learn to sit with what is. And welcome if you're just coming in. We're in our comfortable position. Awesome. Stacy and Grace, welcome. We just started closing our eyes, and really we're just asking ourselves how we feel right now. And if there's agitation, that's okay. Just see what that's like. It will shift, it will change. And then starting your deepening of the breath. Breathing into the heart space, into the belly. Exhale, belly falls, chest falls. Going back in, the breath turns to flow inward. And then it turns to flow outward. And there's a really quiet place in between that shift from an inhale to an exhale. Noticing that shift from the exhale back to an inhale. Continuing this. You're not only paying attention to your breaths in and out, but also the spaces in between. We don't often pay as much attention to that in our normal day-to-day. And I'm sorry if you can hear someone talking. My husband's working from home and he's on a call like outside the room. You can always put on music if you are hearing any of that. Let's just breathe a few more breaths here. We've already asked ourselves how we feel just in general. You can ask yourself how your heart feels right now, and then using that answer to form your intention. So if there's anything like feeling low today, maybe you give yourself compassion, and that's your intention, self-compassion. Or if you feel really like buzzy with energy, maybe your intention would be grounding, peace, or calming. So just formulating that around the answer when you ask into how your heart feels. We'll hold that intention while we breathe a few breaths. Really feel that intention as you breathe in, sending it to your heart, your chest. As you exhale, feeling it permeate deeper into your practice, your spirit. Take 3 more breaths in this way. Nice. Just touch into how you feel right now. After that, after those deep breaths, after giving yourself this beautiful intention, and then allowing this to carry you through this practice and maybe your entire day or week, rest of your week. So let's slowly make our way into a child's pose. So take your time. If you're seated, you can kind of just roll forward. Maybe you scoot knees back and come down. If you're lying down, taking care with your low back, you might roll to the side first and then walk the hands around front. So we're going to ease into the first pose. If you need any stretches or movements before you get to it, by all means take them. If you need cat and cows or some happy baby or anything. Eventually coming to child's pose. So you can prop with a bolster or pillow under your chest, maybe your knees widen. We're going to try to get into the hips now. So child's pose with wide knees, you can do tadpole with wide knees and wide feet. You can take the bolster away if you want. It's okay if your head gently turns to one side. If this is too much this early in the practice, you might try just lying on your back, bring your knees in and then separating them out. Or you can do reclining butterfly, feet together, knees apart, lying down. All of these target the hips, hip flexors, outer hips. You might feel it in the inner thighs or groin. You might start to feel a settling at this point. Breathe into the moment. Send the breath where it needs to go. And you'll know that by what body parts are talking to you right now, letting you know that there's something being affected, something happening. So breathing into those spaces, creating even more space there. Exhale the softening, the relaxing of the muscles, the sinking deeper towards the floor. Nice, even breaths. Noticing what this pose is like. What does it feel like? So often it can be a comforting position to come to child's pose, kind of shutting things out, going inward a bit more. Notice any tension in the upper body, the face, and can you release that? We have about 2 more minutes here. Know that the timing are options as usual. Just watching moment to moment. Every breath different than the one before it and the one after it. Your eyes and jaw just soften. One more minute here. When it's difficult, what's your intention? Or maybe you can simply bring that compassion in for yourself, because that really is a huge theme of the Yin practice. Self-compassion and acceptance for where you are, for what your body's able to do, for what your body is like today. Just a few more breaths here. Last couple breaths in this pose. And then when you're ready, really come out slow as usual, even slower than you think you should. If you have a prop under, you can kind of come up first and push it to the side. And then let's roll onto the front body. And if you're on your back, stretch out on your back. So I just like to stretch the legs long behind me. Let all that go. And just feel the areas that you were compressing. Feel that blood flow. Feel the energy pulsing in those areas of the hips, the knees, ankles, maybe even other parts of your body. If you want to move now at this point, you can windshield wiper your feet, or maybe take your child's pose again, take cat cow, or simply lie still. We're going to find our Sphinx pose from here. So we're just going to kind of flow into these poses. So coming up into the posture, not worrying about tightening the abdominals here. Just let the abs go, pressing the belly into the ground here. Feeling the elbow points pressing into the earth, and the hands, the forearms. I have a dark shirt on, so it's hard to see, but my elbows are pretty much right under my shoulders. Maybe a little bit forward even. So cobra pose with muscular energy. Your hands are back. You're using a lot of strength. Just bring them right forward. And you can even bring a bolster in front and just let it go in the shoulders. We've already been here almost a minute. And if you're still adjusting to get into it, that's completely fine. If you're wondering if your feet should be together or apart, just see where they land, and that's exactly where they should go. You don't need to hold your feet together or knees. My feet tend to separate about mat, a little narrower than mat width. Just see where yours land. I like to close my eyes here, then I can really tap into what I'm feeling in my lower spine. Like, for example, right now I'm talking, so I'm not as present in my body. And now I'm breathing here. I can feel that I could be a little bit higher up in the pose. I could use a little bit more stress on the tissues. So I would just kind of come up a little. You can also do seal. I know it's a lot of instruction, but there's so many options for this pose. Seal, pressing hands down, lifting up. Elbows can straighten a little bit or a lot. So we don't want to feel 100% relaxed in the poses. We're some level, percentage level of going to our edge. And that's for you to decide. But we don't want to be, in a restorative pose where we're not at any kind of an edge. Restorative is such a beautiful practice, but it is different than yin. I like to do what we did last, child's pose or frog. and Sphinx for about 5 minutes each. Find you can really get pretty deep into the poses, and it's really healthy for the body. Thinking about the organs in the low back, the kidneys. So they're protected by that back part of the rib cage, and you can feel that compression, that space, that spot that's getting a little bit crushed, and then right above it, those kidneys on either side. You can breathe right into there. And exhale, ground yourself. Feel the earth, feel the palms press into the ground, the tops of the feet push into the ground. And you're not physically like pressing, you're letting them be supported and heavy. We have about 1 more minute here. A few more breaths. Let go what you can release. When you're ready, take another inhale. As you exhale, you can start lowering. Maybe it's several breaths to come down. Unroll that spine and let go. Close the eyes again. You might feel some weirdness in the low back. No, totally normal. And then let's get a little movement there, bending your knees, and again with the windshield wiper motion. Another one, you can let the legs be straight and just hips wiggle side to side. And that's a nice one too. And then if you need a child's pose, once more, hands underneath, gentle pressing up, hips come back, head comes down. So just a restful child's pose for about a minute, and then, or you can do your cat-cows. You can come up hands and knees. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, round. If you don't feel like moving, then don't. Stay where you are. Take lying down on the belly once again. And then we are going to go back there. So bring a pillow or something that you might want under your head. For this one, we're going to take a shoulder opener. It's a little bit hard to show you. So I'll be talking through it and I'll probably show you several angles. So we haven't done this one in a few weeks, and it's such a great shoulder and heart opener. So go ahead and stretch your right arm out to the side. So straight out from your shoulder, back a little bit. And then pressing your left hand into the ground, see if you can roll onto the shoulder. Your knees can bend, and then that's where you can bring pillows under the head. Left arm can maybe rest on the ground, the left hip, or come behind you. If that doesn't work for the shoulder, instead of stretching the arm out to the side, stretch it towards right in front of you, and do the same thing. Just press down with the left hand, roll on the shoulder, bend the knees. So you kind of get the picture of really getting into this right shoulder. If anyone has questions during class, you can type in the chat box, like if you're not sure what we just did. We're going to take this one a little bit shorter of an amount of time, just a little bit. Please be careful with the shoulders. When you move in and out of things, if you bring your arm behind you, go very, very slowly. You don't want to feel a sharp sensation. Nothing like, it can feel like okay if it's a little pinchy in the shoulder blades, but nothing that's sharp. If you feel that, bring the arm back around or roll off it a little bit. It's a nice heart opener. And just see what this brings up. You can keep asking yourself in every pose, how am I feeling right now? You can ride the waves of emotion that surface, or be curious about it, about something like if you suddenly get a wave of frustration or sadness or, whatever it is, be curious about it. If it's really uncomfortable and tense, really use your breath in the poses. You can inhale right into the body and even do a sigh, getting rid of any old stale energy, old ideas, negative thoughts, anything. Just let them go. Tension and stress draining out of your body with your exhale, draining into the ground, down and out. About one more minute here. There's a question. Flip right palm up, elbow. Yeah, you can flip your right palm up if that's better on your shoulder. That's a great idea, actually. Yeah. That's a great note too about hyperextension. So we don't want to go past, like if we hyperextend elbows, we don't want to go past that normal range of motion. So for really flexible people, you might have to back off what you think is your deepest point. You might have to like actually back it off a little bit. Instead of being at 100%, maybe you're at 80, 85 or less. Take another couple breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly, we're gonna roll back onto the front. So you can bring the left hand back if you've moved it. And just coming right down. If you want, arms can lay alongside. You can turn your head the other direction. Or if you'd rather arms in front, like a little pillow for your head, the hands. Just release that. Let it go. We'll take the other side when ready. So left arm either stretching out to your side straight out or towards that front of the mat or towards your computer. And then use your right hand, press it down, roll onto the shoulder. Knees can bend. And then maybe I always need a pillow, but it's just, how the structure of your neck and head and shoulder is, if you need that or not. You might need a blanket rolled under your neck. Right arm can stay for support on the floor, come to your right hip or somewhere behind you. It's okay if the right arm kind of dangles behind you, but just try not to hold it in place with effort. Nice. Being patient and kind to yourself as we get into the poses. When we notice that frustration, do that big exhale. It works wonders. There's a reason that you hear people sighing when they're frustrated. That exhale breath is super important. Sometimes that's due to not breathing in enough or taking deep enough breaths, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, palm can be flipped up or down on the left side, depending on your shoulder, your comfort level, your elbow. Let go in your face and jaw. If you're really like gritting your teeth or like straining to be here, you've got to back it off a bit. Relax your muscles. Just let it go. We might have to remind ourselves 100 times to release and let go in this practice, and that's completely normal. So breathing through this pose about another 10 breaths or so. If you've come out early, that's awesome. You listen to your body. Nice. A few more breaths. Last breath in and out. You can slowly release yourself from the pose. Just go as slow as you can. If you brought that arm behind you, take it all the way back around. Roll back onto the front body. You can either turn your head to the other side with arms alongside, or arms are bent in front. Big release. What a great pose, especially for all of us who are sitting more than usual, being at home, typing on a computer if you're working at home. Good stuff, good stuff. So let's come up once more, hands under shoulders, lifting up. We'll come to a seat now. So we're gonna go to butterfly. If you know that you won't be rounding forward due to an injury, lie down and do reclining butterfly on your back. So with butterfly, it's okay if your knees are nowhere near the ground, but I would love it if you, again, aren't using effort to hold your knees up, always grabbing a block or two or pillows under the thighs if you need it. So I'm okay with my legs just hanging there, but it's really not for everyone. And especially if you feel anything sharp and deep in the hips, definitely elevate. You can also sit on a blanket for more comfort if your bones are kind of sit bones and your butt are digging into the ground. So it doesn't matter if feet are far away, close in, just see where they fall naturally. You might even bounce up and down a little, just get your comfortable position. And then take a breath in. Exhale, we'll start rounding the spine forward. So don't worry about that vinyasa, like active hatha kind of chest up, lean forward. It's a rounding. It's safe to do that. Slowly coming down. And then propping if you need. So I do like to bring a bolster under my head or arms in this pose. You can bring it up higher with stacks of pillows or books. Coming down slow. Doesn't matter where your head goes. It may never reach the feet. That's okay. If you're more upright, that's okay too. So we did that big child's pose, kind of tadpole pose already. So we did get into the hips a bit. See what this one is like. See what's different about it. See what feels similar. Your body's different now than several poses ago. So just check it out. This could feel like a nice release in your lower back as well. So yeah, it targets hips, but low back as well. And the rounding in the whole spine. So it is affecting whole spine. You might even feel something behind your heart, the upper back, some pulling sensations. Let go with the teeth, jaw, forehead. So remember, gravity helps us in the poses, especially seated. We want to feel gravity is pulling us down towards the earth in this pose. And you're allowing it to do that instead of resisting that. So a feeling of sinking deeper, being held, being supported by the earth. We're about halfway through this. Notice any shifts in your perception, your thinking, physical body, energy body, mind, emotion, all of those things. There's so many different things that come up in the practice and tools that we use to stay present. Sensory information keeps us present, feeling into the body and what's occurring right now. And obviously the breath is the big one. Let's take one more minute. This one's feeling longer to me for some reason, but I don't know how it's feeling for you. Obviously, if you need to come out sooner, do that. Okay, 10 more breaths. Bring that intention in. If this is difficult, you're not alone. We're all in this together. So getting ready to come out, I like to press hands into the floor, or you can press into your prop and bring yourself up slowly. Awesome. If you want, you can bring knees in and stretch the legs long. Maybe circle the ankles a little bit. If you want to do a front body stretch, let your knees bend, feet come to the floor, hands behind with the fingers pointing forward, and hips can lift up, opening the chest, the front. And we're going to come down and come onto our backs. So bring along any pillows or blankets you might need. We'll be on our backs the rest of the class, so come on down. Stretch out. Let everything go here. You can take a pentagram shape if you want, or a star. The legs stretched out and the arms stretched out. So thinking about four corners of a room. And then we're going to take reclining half moon. So you can bring it all back in. If you need movement before, maybe you hug knees and rock a little bit. Just feeling out in the side body. We'll be getting into the side body, the side of the hips soon. And then coming down onto the back. So another one that's a little weird to kind of try to demonstrate through the computer, but I'll talk us through it and then ask questions if you need. So first, you're lying straight out, neutral spine. I'll bend my knees and I'm going to shift my hips to the right, thinking about them going towards the right edge of the mat. Legs come down. We're going to slide the left foot to the left corner of the mat and right can follow. So you can see I'm not in a straight line anymore. You can also cross at the ankle with right over left. Arms come overhead. You can make that banana or half moon shape by scooting shoulders over to the left side. If your hips are way up, see if you can bring them down a little, and you might have to bring your curve to not be as curvy. And then find that place where you can be in your stillness. I'm going to time the pose. Nice reclining posture. Allowing the earth to support you in the whole back of the body. So breathing in, feeling the whole front body, a lightness to it. Exhale, feeling the whole back body, heaviness. You should feel a pretty big stretch somewhere along the right side of your body. It can really be anywhere from fingertips down to the pinky toe. The other side is affected too. The left side, you might feel compression near the waist or squishing together of something. There are lots of things we can feel in the poses. Breathing into the heart space. What was that intention you had set? Can you bring it forth here? Apply it. Bring compassion and acceptance to yourself. The greater we're able to do that for ourselves, we can do that for others in a better way. It's easier. About halfway here. See how far you've come in the pose. You might notice a deep sensation in the yin tissues, connective tissue. So when we think about tension in the body, often adhesions in the fascia, like trigger points kind of thing. If you think about that, tension in the muscles themselves. So we're really, it's like a massage from the inside in this pose, in all of them. We get so deep in the tissues and we can really affect those stuck areas, bringing fresh blood, oxygen, nutrients, and energy there. About another minute here. Just a little more here, a few more breaths. When you're ready, please take your time, slowly, slowly coming out. So you might start by bringing the arms down by the sides. Maybe the legs then slide back to the center. Maybe you kind of scoot hips and spine back to the middle to a more neutral position and just rest here. It's a big posture. Just absorb and feel what just happened on that side. We're gonna go for the other side. So when you're ready, knees bend, feet to the ground. Pick hips up, scoot left. Arms and legs relax. So you can draw the right foot to the right corner, left follows. Maybe cross at ankle. And then arms overhead and scooting to the right. I really use my hips and butt kind of as the anchor and then move the limbs around them. That makes sense. And then big stretch on that left side. So anywhere from, like I said, the little pinky finger to the little pinky toe, all along the side body, arm, shoulder, armpit area is really important. We have a lot of acupuncture points through the armpit, the side of the ribs here, relating to the heart, the spleen, and the gallbladder. So definitely getting big into there. Gallbladder channel runs on the outer hip and the outside of the leg. So I always get chilly and yin. You can always put a blanket over you if you haven't already, if you're getting cold. Space heater is good. Layers. So it is effort, but it's also, we want to relax. It's both. There's a lot of duality in Chinese medicine as well. If you're familiar with the yin and yang. And sometimes two things are true or more. Effortless effort, or a Taoist term, wu wei. kind of like water. It's powerful, but it still will flow downhill, flowing around obstacles or through them. Seeks the lowest point. So the poses similarly are very powerful, but also we do use our let allowing happen with gravity and sinking down, being supported by the earth. We've been here a while. What's showing up for you here? And sometimes the poses really do bring up emotional responses. And that might happen even more when you're at home practicing than in a studio, because you feel it's, you know, more comfortable. No one's around. You can let go a little more. If you need an emotional release, that's okay. That's a good thing. We do store emotion and trauma in the body. So sometimes an opening can really surprise us. We might have tears come out of nowhere, not sure why, but that's okay. We're clearing something out, making room and space for something beautiful and new. We have about 1 more minute here. Just a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, please slowly begin releasing. And I'll just let you kind of slide out of the pose as you need to without too many cues, since you've been here before. So just lying here in rest and feeling what just happened. And then let's bring the knees in and rock, hug your knees, rock side to side. We're gonna have an option for happy baby for 2 minutes. So you can separate knees, stay like this, or you can grab the feet or ankles and bring them up a bit. So you're kind of, you are using a little effort to hold with the arms, but not too much. So knees in either case come down towards the floor on either side. We're getting into the groin and hips one more time. This is more of like a peak pose for that child's pose and that butterfly pose. So if you know you need to come out sooner, just hug the knees, that's fine. So maybe you eventually find, 3 to 5 breaths of stillness, even if it's not the whole 2 minutes, that's okay. One more minute. Let go of the jaw and the face. Don't make a face or clench it or tighten it. I say that a lot because I do that. Just notice it, just letting it go. Especially if you're someone that clenches your jaw when you're stressed. We can just start noticing it in the practice, and then later through the day, you might start noticing it too, and then you can correct that, let it go. 30 more seconds here. And then release when you're ready, please. Let it go. Awesome. So we'll get ready for the last pose, our spinal twist. So if you want, you can hug the knees in and let them drop to the right. Now, if they don't go all the way over, you can prop something under the knees or in between them, or you can do cross the left over right, knees fall right. Just say, or your favorite twist. So I'm not too particular about what this twist looks like. Everyone will be different. Looks like Lily, the kitty, is up from her nap and wants to go out there. Let your shoulders feel very heavy and sinking to the earth. So this is just as important of a pose, not a throwaway pose that we just kind of do quick at the end. We're really getting into it here. So twisting in the low abdomen is great for digestion. So good compression on the internal organs, especially large intestine, the colon, which is a big organ in Chinese medicine. As you can imagine, it's good for letting go if we're in balance with that organ on all levels, mentally, physically, emotionally. Do we hold on to too much or feel stuck? Just think about free-flowing movement through the intestines, the internal organs. Halfway through this, twisting in our spine, keeping it healthy. keeping our full range of motion. Ten more breaths here. So you can start slowly rolling back to the center and uncrossing or bringing legs back to neutral. Take a moment here and rest, feeling that subtle energy shifting. If you're not sure what that is, any feeling that you feel from the pose can be a lightness, a heaviness, a dull ache, pulsing, a swirling, any little feeling of movement, blood flow. All of this is energy or chi moving. When you're ready, you can take the other side. So maybe bring knees in and then let them fall left. If you're crossing, it's right over left, knees go left. Or take your favorite one. So just some version where your knees and legs are going opposite of that opposite shoulder. That's kind of like what you want to think about in the pose. It's like the hip and shoulder are opposing each other. But not too tweaky in the low back. So nothing sharp or even like a teeny little sharpness, nothing like that. So careful. You might not want your knees all the way to the ground. They're a little hanging, put a prop under. Got our last pose here. So even though it's a restful practice, we're using focus and concentration and on the breath, on the sensations we feel. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and attend them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. They may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. So that is Acceptance by Rumi, ancient poetry. Just a little bit more time here. Take about one more minute. Nice. When ready, please slowly roll out of this back on your back, uncross. And then while you get ready for your relaxation, our last pose, actually that will be the last pose, just gathering blankets, your pillow, anything you need over or under you. I'll just let you know, you probably saw in the email already, but I don't think I wrote it actually. Starting next Tuesday, I'm teaching a Yin Yoga class with Blue Lotus Yoga Studio. So you can go to their website. It's going to be 6:30 to 7:30 on Tuesday evenings. So rather than teaching a midday class, I'll be doing all Yin on Tuesday evening, 6:30, Blue Lotus Yoga Studio. Live stream classes are just $8, so the same. So let's get into our relaxation. And then finally, just let everything go. You have the next few minutes to just be and allow and absorb all that you've done in your practice. Just let go one more time here. So just starting to gently stir a little bit. Take a big inhale, exhale. Gently reawakening your body, smoothing the fingers and toes. If you need a little more, you can gently turn your head, circle wrists and ankles, or even stretch arms overhead. Stretch the toes forward. And then take your time, let your knees bend, and you can roll to the side, pausing. And then coming to your seat, and we'll close our practice together. So when you're ready, you can bring the palms together at the heart and just sitting comfortably here. Take a breath in and out. May all beings be free of fear and harm. May we all be happy just the way we are. May we be at peace with whatever comes. And may we all live gently in the softness of our own hearts. Namaste.